Rolact Act of 1919. Let me tell you the story why this Rolact Act was passed and how it was passed. In 1917, Government of India had appointed a committee under the chairmanship of Justice Sidney Rolack to investigate crime done by the revolutionaries, that is the Satyagrahis, who were rebelling against the authorities, that is British government. And it had recommended that the legislation, they should give a legislation for its suppression. After a review of the situation, the Rolac Committee proposed a series of changes in the machinery of law to enable the British government to deal effectively with the revolutionary activities. So they proposed certain changes. In the light of the recommendation, government on 6th February 1919 drafted two bills. Government maintained that these bills were temporary measures which aimed at preventing crimes. Okay, so what was there in these bills? These new bills attempted to make first wartime restrictions permanent. So whatever restrictions were levied during the war will be permanent, there won't be any change. They provided, second point, they provided trial of offence by special court consisting of three high court judges. That is, there will be a trial of the Satyagrahis and there will be a special court which will consist of three high court judges. There was no provision of appeal against the decision of this court. That is, verdict given by these three high court judges will be final. The bill also proposed, third point, the bill also proposed to give authority to the government to search a place and arrest a person without a warrant. And fourth, detention was possible without a trial for a maximum period of 2 years, and it was these were the pointers which were provided in the bill. So these were the things which were going to be applied as per proposed by Sidney Rolact. So this act was termed as the Black Act, as it was against the basic human rights. Why it was against the basic human rights? Because it gave authority to the government to search a place and arrest a person without any warrant, without any reason also satyagrahis might be taken inside. It also gave the government authority to detain anyone without trial. Okay, so there won't be trial in the court and the person might be kept in jail for 2 years. And thirdly, that there will be a special court which will be consisting of three high court judges and their verdict will be final. A person will not have the right to go and appeal again for his rights. Okay, for whether he is right or wrong, he will have to accept the verdict given by the high court judges. That's the reason it was termed as the Black Act. Now, let us continue with the story. Now, the Rolac Act is proposed. How is the mood in the country? Is everybody going to accept it? Well, there was a widespread condemnation of the bill in the whole country. Gandhiji launched a campaign against the bill. He opposed not just the content of the bill, but also the manner in which they were applied in the country without regard to public opinion. He formed a Satyagraha Sabha in Bombay to protest against the Rolac Bill. All the members signed a pledge to proclaim their determination to refuse to obey these laws. They refused to obey these laws. Despite strong opposition in the whole country, government remained firm. Council passed one of the bill, though all the non-official members voted against it. Viceroy gave assent to the bill. Gandhiji then started his satyagraha by calling upon the countrymen to observe a day of hartal. On this day, business should be suspended and people should fast and pray as a protest against the Rolac Act. The date for the hartal was 6th of April. The hartal was a success. This hartal was observed on 30th of March in Delhi. Only in Delhi it was observed on 30th March. 10 people were killed in the police firing. Almost in all the major towns and cities and in the countryside, this hartal was a success. All the people responded in it enthusiastically. Gandhiji further intensified the agitation by advising the satyagrahis to disobey the law, dealing with prohibited literature and the registration of the newspaper. These particular laws were selected because disobedience was possible for an individual without leading to violence. So, four books, including Hindavi Swaraj of Gandhiji, which was prohibited by Bombay government in 1910, were chosen for sale. Okay, so Hindavi Swaraj was also one of the book. As an action of defiance against the British government, they decided to sell the prohibited books. Gandhiji left Bombay on 8th of February to promote the Satyagraha agitation in Delhi and Punjab. He left by train, but as soon as from Delhi he started for Punjab, he was not allowed in Punjab and he had to retreat back. He was taken back from Bombay and he was arrested. The news of Gandhiji's arrest intensified the agitation. The situation went out of control. It was very tense situation in Bombay. Violence broke out in Ahmedabad. In the Punjab region, especially in Amritsar, it witnessed the worst scene of violence. As soon as in Amritsar, news of Gandhiji's arrest coincided with the arrest of the two local leaders too. Who were these two local leaders? Dr. Kichlu and Dr. Satyapal. It all happened on 10th of April. This led to mob violence and government buildings were set on fire. 5 Englishmen were murdered. Civil authority lost its control of the city and finally they had to enforce the martial law. So, that was the story related to Rolac Act. But what are the points that we are going to remember in order to frame our answer? So, here goes the points. This act was passed through Imperial Legislative Council. It gave the government the power to repress political activities and allow detention of political prisoners without trial for 2 years. Gandhiji in 1919 launched a nationwide satyagraha against the Rolac Act and it started it with an hartal on 6th of April. There were rallies which were organized in various cities. Workers went on strike in railway workshops and shops were closed down. Now, as there was a mass agitation, British government was scared that the lines of communication such as the railways and the telegraph would be disrupted and so the British administration decided to clamp down the nationalists. Local leaders were picked up from Amritsar and Mahatma Gandhi was barred from entering Delhi. On 10th April, the police in Amritsar fired upon a peaceful procession which led to attacks on banks, post office and railway stations and ultimately because of which martial law was imposed and General Dyer took command. So, these are the main key points that we have to remember for the Rolac Act. Alright, now on the previous slide we discussed about the Rolac Act and we also talked about the mass satyagraha movement which took place because of the Rolac Act and afterwards how it got converted into a violent movement, right? So now let's discuss about when the martial law was imposed in Amritsar and then we have the Baisakhi festival which is coming in and which usually would take place in the Jallianwala Bagh. So how did this Jallianwala Bagh massacre take place? Let's talk about it. On Sunday, 13th April 1919, Dyer was convinced of a major violent uprising which was going to take place against the British government. He felt that there was going to be a major violent uprising. That's the reason he banned all the meetings. However, this notice was not widely disseminated. This notice was not put up on the walls, and that's the reason people coming from outside Amritsar never knew about it. That was the day of Baisakhi, the main Sikh festival, and many villagers had gathered in the Bagh for the annual Baisakhi fair. On hearing that a meeting had assembled at Jallianwala Bagh, Dyer went with 50 Gurkha riflemen to a raised bank and ordered them to shoot at the crowd. On the order of the Brigadier General Reginald Dyer, the army fired on the crowd for 10 minutes, directing their bullets largely towards the open gates through which people were trying to run out. General Dyer ordered his troops to fire on a peaceful, unarmed crowds assembled at the Jallianwala Bagh. Most of the people were not aware of the ban on the meeting and they were shot without the slightest warning. The figure released by the British government were 370 dead and 1200 wounded, but other sources place the number of dead people was more. Dyer continued the firing for about 10 minutes until the ammunition supply was almost exhausted. General Dyer, who later on said that it was no longer a question of merely dispersing the crowd, but one of producing a moral effect, an effect that everyone will remember, and henceforth they will not go against the order given by the government. This brutality stunned the entire nation, resulting in a wrenching loss of faith of the general public in the intentions of the Britain. The ineffective inquiry and the initial accolades for Dyer by the House of Lords fueled the widespread anger, leading to a non cooperation movement in India in 1920-22. Now, let's discuss about the key points that we need to remember in order to frame our answer. On 13th April, the infamous Jallianwala Bagh incident took place. On that day, a large crowd had gathered in the enclosed ground of Jallianwala Bagh. Some came to protest against the government's new repressive measures, others had come to attend the annual Baisakhi fair. Being from outside the city, many villagers were unaware of the martial law that had been imposed. Dyer entered the area, blocked the exit points, and opened fire on the crowd, killing hundreds. His object, as he declared later, was to produce a moral effect, to create in the minds of a satyagrahi a feeling of terror and awe. Now, what was the situation after the Jallianwala Bagh incidents? Were the people afraid or were they more angry? Well, as the news of Jallianwala Bagh spread, crowds took to the street in many North Indian towns. There were strikes, clashes with the police, and attacks on government buildings. Government responded with more brutal repression, seeking to humiliate and terrorize people. They were using more brutal force. Satyagrahis were forced to rub their nose on the ground, crawl on the streets, and do salam, that is, salute to all sahibs. People were flogged, and villages around the Gurjanwala in Punjab, now in Pakistan, were bombed. Well, so what happened? That whenever they would see a satyagrahi, they would ask that person to rub his nose on the ground, crawl on the street, that is, they should not walk in front of a British official, and they should always salute when they see any sahib. People were flogged, they were beaten up, okay? And villages around the Gurjanwala, that is in Punjab, and currently in Pakistan, it was bombed. Seeing violence spread, Mahatma Gandhi called off this movement. Now, this Rolak Satyagraha had been a widespread movement. It was still limited mostly to cities and towns. Mahatma Gandhi now felt the need to launch a more broad based movement in India. It was the time that the broad based non cooperation movement had to be started in India because of the incidents what happened at Jallianwala Bagh. Gandhiji knew that it was now the time that there should be a mass movement. But he was certain that no such movement could be organized without bringing Hindus and Muslims close together. And one way of doing it, he felt, was to take up the Khilafat issue. The First World War had ended with the defeat of the Ottoman Turks, and there were rumors that a harsh peace treaty was going to be imposed on the Ottoman Emperor, the spiritual head of the Islamic world. Now, the Caliph of Turkey is the temporal and the spiritual leader of the Muslims all over the world. During the World War I, British had promised the Caliph that he would not be deprived of his power and Turkey would not be partitioned. But after the war, the Caliph was deprived of his power. Ottoman Emperor, as it had sided with the Central Power during World War I, suffered major military defeat. The Treaty of Versailles reduced its territorial extent and diminished its political influence. But the victorious European power promised to protect the Ottoman Emperor and the Caliph, but it did not happen so. So, this Khilafat movement was a pan Islamist political campaign launched by the Muslims of British India to influence the British government not to abolish the Ottoman Caliphate. Although political activities and popular outcry on behalf of the Caliphate uh, emerged across the Muslim world, the most prominent activities took place in India. Muhammad Ali and his brother Maulana Shaukat Ali joined the Muslim leader like Dr. Mukhtar Ali Ansari to form the All India Khilafat Committee. This All India Khilafat Committee was formed in Bombay in March 1919. The aim was to build the political unity among the Muslims and to use their influence to protect the Caliphate. In 1920, they published the Khilafat Manifesto, which called upon the British to protect the Caliphate and for the Indian Muslims to unite and hold British accountable for this purpose. The young generation of Muslim leaders like the brothers Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali began discussing with Mahatma Gandhi about the possibility of united mass action on the issue. Gandhiji saw this as an opportunity to bring Hindus and the Muslims under the umbrella of unified national movement. At the Calcutta session of the Congress in September 1920, he convinced other leaders of the need to start the non cooperation movement in support of the Khilafat as well as Swaraj. In 1920, alliance was made between the Khilafat leaders and the Indian National Congress, and the Khilafat leaders promised to work and fight together for the cause of the Khilafat and Swaraj. They were the major part of the non cooperation movement. So, what are the key points that we have to remember for the Khilafat movement? Rolak Satyagraha had been a widespread movement till it was limited only to cities and towns. Mahatma Gandhi now felt the need to launch a more broad-based movement in India, but he was certain that no such movement could be organized without bringing Hindus and Muslims together. The First World War had ended with the defeat of the Ottoman Turks. There were rumors that a harsh peace treaty was going to be imposed on the Ottoman Emperor, who was the spiritual head, the Khalifa of the Islamic world. The Muslims of India decided to force Britain to change her Turkish policy. The Khilafat movement, a Khilafat committee, was formed by the brothers Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. A young generation of Muslim leaders like the brother Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali began discussing with Mahatma Gandhi about the possibility of united mass action against the issue. At the Calcutta session of the Congress in September 1920, he convinced, that is, Mahatma Gandhi convinced other leaders of the need to start the non cooperation movement in support of the Khilafat as well as for Swaraj.